Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. Well, as I said earlier, Don, we have a great show today. You and I have been very excited about this one. We're meeting with Dan Burrell of the Jersey Mike Subs franchise opportunity. And Jersey Mike Subs goes all the way back to 1956, so I didn't realize they've been around that long. Hey, Dan, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great, Dan. Dan, joining us is my co-host, Don Johnson. And I don't know if you know Don. Don's the president of Diamond Financial Services, and I know, Don, you wanted to say hi to Dan.
Yeah, hey, Dan, thanks for coming on. We've spoken in the past, and as you know, my company's working. I've enjoyed speaking to Brian and Mike at the corporate office, and I'm excited. You guys are right in our backyard. I've gone to Jersey Mike's for years. Marty and I talked earlier. We first met our wives. It was in that Point Pleasant area, and I'm not too far from there, so it's pretty interesting.
No, it's great stuff. Actually, I grew up in Point Pleasant as well. My first Mike's sandwich was in 1968.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got some history. It's very cool stuff. And the Jersey Shore is really unique. And what one of the coolest things about our franchise, not comparing everybody else, but ours, is there's some real history there. There's the Jersey Shore, and it's in everything that we do. And that's so cool that Peter Cancro has done that, because living in California and kind of, making our sandwiches out here, the same ones that I grew up with, people get a sense of what the Jersey Shore is all about. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you're calling from California this morning. Do you miss New Jersey, Dan?
Absolutely. I do. I don't miss the weather, but it's nice to go back for like a cold weekend, where I can walk on the snow and the ice, but just a weekend. I don't need the slush.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, the weather's great in California. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, and my wife grew up on Jersey Mike Subs as well, just so you know, Dan. She was really excited about today's show, so, being from the area, we got a lot of big hype about it, so. It's,
well, I tell you, the coolest thing, being involved out here with Jersey Mike's in California, my history is Peter Cancro, of course, who owns the company.
Right.
And we played at different high schools in town. He went to Point Pleasant Beach, and I went to the Borough, and we played football against each other for 4 years.
Amazing.
So it's so much fun to be a part of that, because it takes me right back to my roots. Nothing like working in a business that's connected to your roots.
Absolutely.
That's the big Thanksgiving Day rivalry, right? Point Beach and Point Pleasant.
It is now. Yeah, it is now.
That's
absolutely. But we tied our senior year. We were co-division champs our senior year, so neither of us has an edge. We tied 6-6, and we were both co-champions, so we have to leave it right there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I guess it was meant to be that way.
Right.
I guess it was meant to be, yeah.
Dan, what were you doing before working with Jersey Mike's or joining the family?
I had started my restaurant career out here with California Pizza Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I had spent 10 years with them, and then I went with a development company called Crusoe Affiliated Holdings, who had a California Pizza Kitchen franchise, so we built stores with them. Then worked on some other projects, and then it was just the right time for me to step out and open up the Camarillo store 5.5 years ago. Was the first California location, Jersey Mike's.
That's fantastic. Sounds like all that experience helped you in what you're doing now.
Life is perfect sometimes. The California Pizza Kitchen does a fantastic job of their customer service and their employee support, morale, that whole category. They're just fantastic. Yeah. And so learning from them on that side of it, and then being able to go on the development side and learn how, about real estate and leases and things like that.
Right.
It was just amazing that it prepared me to take this next step, which is to open up a new territory for a new restaurant company.
That's terrific.
Yeah, that is interesting how kind of come full circle for you. You're familiar with it back in your hometown, and now you're developing it out.
Well, I'll tell you a really quick story. I was with California Pizza Kitchen. I was running a store in Studio City, and I was reading through restaurant news, and I saw an ad in the paper, and it said, "Meet the country's best sub, Jersey Mike Subs."
Wow.
And now, but the thing is, for me, is I left Point Pleasant after high school and went into the service and college, and then came out west a long time ago. And I saw this, and I was offended, because I know that the best subs in the country are in Point Pleasant, Mike Subs. I did not know that there was any other store other than Mike's. So I called the number, really to give the guy a hard time and say, "Hey, pal, have you ever been to Mike Subs? Because that's the best sub in the country." And he goes, "That's who we are. We're Mike Subs." Right. He goes, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Dan Burrell from Point Pleasant Borough." And bam, all the way, up to Peter's name, and it was like,
that's
wow.
Incredible.
Yeah. So my dream was, what? I want to bring this out to the West Coast, and spent quite a few years putting as much money together as I could, and opened up our first location. I have a partner, Angel Velasquez, great operations guy, and I envisioned, opening multiple stores in California. We opened up in a tiny little spot. You could hardly see it. You kind of had to be a Boy Scout to find this location. Everybody thought I was an idiot, but I always felt, really strong about the product, that there's no other sandwich out there that can compare to this when you have it Mike's Way and you do it, that number 13 Mike's Way. So this out-of-the-way spot, this hole in the wall, we gave this great Jersey Mike's service. We made the sandwich the way it was supposed to be, and we took this little location, 1,200 square feet in the C-Center, and turned it into a very, very big store. And it just started us out right in California, because it wasn't about being in this fantastic center and having everything perfect. It was this tiny, it was almost a spot like Point Pleasant, this tiny little spot, out of the way. And that was the beginning in California for us. And we're up to 31 stores now, and in 5 years. We don't grow like we want to put one in every corner. We just want to be in every community. That's what we want to do.
That just goes to show you a good product, good price, and that set system is going to work. And
Well, I'm going to throw something else at you, and it goes right back to the roots of where we're from. You haven't been to California, Jersey Mike's. You've been to the sub shops back east, but when we brought these shops out here, what we really focused on was the type of service that I grew up with in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Jersey Mike's, that's what they work from. And that means you look people in the eye, you have a conversation, you get to know their name, you get to know their sandwich. You're a part of the community. And we've done that from day one out here. And I'll tell you, in California, it just doesn't happen often. And people are excited about our product, but they're more excited about walking in and getting recognized and having their little kid get a free cookie, because we do that for everybody under 10. Right. We know their schools, we support their teams. It's the way it's done in New Jersey, and there's something grounding about it doing out in here in California, because it really works well. And a lot of we have done so much out here for the community. It's just great. So there's a different style of service that we bring, and it adds to to our product, but people really enjoy that back home kind of in your face. How are you? Hey, what's up, bud? Hey, you look great today.
Right. That sort of fun atmosphere.
Yes, and you notice it immediately. Energy. A lot of our customers call it energy. They walk in and they feel an energy in the restaurants.
Right.
Fantastic.
And that makes it rewarding for everybody. It's easier to work and to slice, for 7 or 8 hours when you're having a blast with your customers. And your kids, your 14, 15, 16-year-olds, today's kids learn a skill of being able to look someone in the eye and say hello and make conversation that's going to help them for many, many years to come.
They might be future franchisees, those teenagers work in the stores.
You know what? They may be future franchisees. They may end up being an attorney someday. They may interview for a school and get in because they had a personality and they're able to use it. And so it's a tool that I really enjoy, and we all really enjoy teaching these kids that they can use forever.
Talk a little bit more, Dan, about the history. We know it started in 1956 in Point Pleasant. When, what happened from there? When did the company start franchising?
Peter Cancro was a junior in high school. In the end of his junior year, he surprised at least us on the borough side by doing a deal with the bank and his football coach and purchasing the store and owning it. At the end of between his junior and senior year. And it was very funny because it was like, what, he did what? What about being a kid? Right. And so he owned his own store, and then I think it was 1984 they started adding other stores, started franchising and growing, and over the years, North Carolina was a very big state. A lot of people from Jersey went down to North Carolina, and they would order subs and have them sent to them on dry ice because you just had to have the right sub. And and then my involvement 5.5 years ago. We're up to 380 stores right now, and we're on a path to have over 1,000 stores in 5 years. And I believe that's pretty conservative. We're again, it's we don't push like let's open stores. We find the right people to work with, the right franchisee, we have a different type of franchisee in our stores, and so finding them and matching them up with the right community that's how we grow.
Yeah, a lot of times we compare it on the show, Dan, to like a marriage, and it's just so important to have, the perfect match between the franchisor and the franchisee. So I think that's great. You guys do that.
Well, and out here in California, it's been important to me from day one that our representatives, our franchisees, have that heart. They can talk to people. They have that personality, not just the first 10 people that walk in the door, but 10,000 people later in their 7th or 8th year. that they still have that same energy and enthusiasm. So we put them through a lot. We interview. It takes a month or two at least, but we're going to have them work in the store. We're going to have them go out and do some research. I'm going to really get to know them. There's a lot of successful people that come in that want to do franchises with Jersey Mike's out here in California, but because they've been successful in another business doesn't mean that they're the right fit to work in a restaurant. And truthfully, I want them to be happy too. I don't want to turn around in a year and have them look at me and go, "What the hell did I get myself into?"
Like you guys date a little. Yeah, we had a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago. He said he wants the franchisor and franchisee to date a little before they make an agreement. It's almost
you bet. If they're going to work and they're going to volunteer to work in the store for 3 days in a row, maybe 7 or 8 hours a day, and they're going to do the menial tasks like wipe down tables and chat with guests and things like that. If they can do that and they can walk out of there and they can say, "I had a blast. That was great. I got the right person." They come back and go, "Boy, that's a long day. I didn't know what to do with myself." Then I don't have the right person. It makes a big difference to work in the store a little bit.
That's great.
I think in general, I like the Jersey Mike's approach to growth, Dan. I think that's great, where you're being a little more selective, slower growth, making sure that franchisee's taken care of, because obviously that person is going to want to grow himself and have the proper territory and make this a career and be passionate and like what they do and don't have that turnover.
You bet. And what's really neat about my area as well is I have about 4 franchisees that have multiple stores right now in the last 5 years, and that's going to grow. We just opened up in Westwood, right next to UCLA. And to top it all off, the real estate has become so much better in the last couple of months than it was for the last couple of years, that we're the A player. Jersey Mike's is the A player out here in California. Before 4 years ago, I had to try to convince people that we were more than a one store shop.
Right.
Now they're coming for us. The developers and the real estate people, they all want Jersey Mike's in their centers because the competition has been all over the place, and we're completely different. So that's fun.
Yeah,
and then
what a great position to be in. Not only that, but now it's a buyer's market, I guess, for the lease negotiation. You're in the driver's seat on that, with just what's been going around with the economy. So that's a great aspect too for the new franchisee coming into the system.
It certainly is. It really, really is. And our stores, do very, very well, and we're very pleased with how things are going in California, and also our clientele is very devoted. We're a destination restaurant out here, and that's a dream for even some of the big guys, the big sit-down restaurants. You want to be a destination restaurant. Every store of ours has a story of someone driving, 10 or 15 miles to go get a sandwich and drive back home again. It's just really beautiful right now, and the real estate market is, I haven't seen it like this, and we're getting deals from landlords that are just fantastic. So it's a good way to go right now.
Yeah, that's good to hear. There are some benefits sometimes, I guess, of the economy.
Well, you don't feel like you're cashing in on anyone, and everyone else being down a little bit. But what you do is you focus on what you do well, and you just keep pointing forward. My belief is there's enough for everyone out there, but there's certainly a place for Jersey Mike's, in the right communities. We're going to do well in the middle to upper incomes because those are the people. You're not necessarily totally affected by this market, but they're not after the fast food price, the $1.09 or the big $4.99, $5 line right now that all the other people are doing. We're not there. We're a totally different sandwich.
Dan, describe the Jersey Mike's franchise system when you're describing it to a potential franchisee. You did a little bit before, where it becomes kind of like a gathering place and friends, but maybe how do you describe it to a potential investor?
As far as owning a franchise?
Yes.
What's really important for us is that the franchise owner is an operator. We want that person to operate that restaurant. If there's going to be an investor that's going to come in, and he also is very excited about Jersey Mike's, and we feel that that's the right kind of guy, he's going to have to show us who his operator is, and we're really going to want to see that operator is involved in the restaurant 100%. In other words, they could be a partner or something like that would be really good. That's important for us because we don't want someone to walk in, start, do a 3-store deal, throw a couple managers in the store, and look to open other stores and forget what we're about from the beginning. So in out here, when I have people that are interested in doing multiple operations, we want them to start with one store. We want them to operate that store for a couple months so they really get it and they really understand it because, if they're training their managers, if they're training supervisors to carry that on, we want them working in the store with them. And then when they open that second store, they've already created someone that's going to run that first store just like they did, just like they were there, just like they were an owner. After that, they can grow. But what's really crucial is the training that we do, and there's really not many companies that train like this. Our franchisees are going to spend 360 hours in the store. So that's 6, 7, 8 weeks of full-time in-store training. They can't work a job. They're going to have to let go of their job. We do it when they're in construction, and by the time that they get out of that 360-hour training period, they can probably run any store in California from the number 1 store to the number 30 store in sales. Because they get it over and over again, and they've worked every position. They slice, they sprinkle, they understand the oil and vinegar. We go through human resources. We do everything. I know there's companies out there that, you get a 15-day training program and a VCS tape, VHS tape or whatever, and you throw it in there, and that's your training program. And this works well for us because we get fully trained people. The support that we give is right from the beginning. We're going to help with site selection. We're going to help with working on your letter of intent. We're going to approve every site. We, in most of our areas, have architects and contractors that we worked with multiple times. So we have a system that when they buy into, it's going to make it pretty easy because most people, when they get to construction, they look forward to it, but it's a long, winding, hard road to get that door open. So we assist all the way, and then through the opening, we're going to help them get the store set up. We're going to help them open their store, and support them for the whole first 2 weeks that they're open, and then after that, we do monthly evaluations. We do a lot of visits. We really stay in touch with the franchisee because it's about them being successful. We want them to make money.
There's no shortcuts there. You really,
right.
That's 300.
No, there's no shortcuts. And when I sit and interview someone, and we're on our second or third interview, and I'm telling them that they're going to be in a store for 360 hours, you can tell right there whether that's going to work or not.
Exactly.
Right.
Man, 7 weeks? Are you kidding me? I'm 42 years old, and I'm going to train for 7 weeks in a row. How much can there be to making a sandwich?
Right.
That's a great question. How much work can there be to make a sandwich? Well, our sandwiches are simple. I mean, it's all fresh. It's all sliced fresh. It's not that difficult. We don't have a ton of ingredients on our line. All kinds of sauces. We're all about oil and vinegar.
Right.
Onion, lettuce, and tomato and oregano. That's what we're about in our fresh cut cold cuts. And people are really surprised that they're going to be in there for 360 hours. But boy, it's well worth it. And we have fantastic franchisees. I mean, we really have terrific franchisees. So
it's the details that separate the stronger franchise.
It is, and the ongoing training. What Jersey Mike's has done really well is they continue to bring people back, franchisees that have been in the system for a year, 2 years, 10 years, and do a back to basics program. And John uses our training director, and he does a back to basics where, let's just start talking about oil and vinegar. Okay, I've made 8,000 sandwiches. Why should I talk about oil and vinegar? Because that's what's important is they get the right amount of oil and vinegar. That's the sandwich. You've had the sandwich. That's the hook. It's like a drug. You have that onion, lettuce, tomato, oil, vinegar, oregano. Every couple of days you think about I gotta have something. What is it? And
right.
It's that oil and vinegar. I mean, I've been doing that my whole life. So it doesn't seem complicated, but to get it right over and over and over again, you're right. You got to pay attention to the details. Training's crucial.
I got to tell you, Dan, you're making me hungry. It's trouble after this show. I don't know about you, Don. I'm starving now, but you just.
Well, think about the customers on the West Coast. Think about people, coming into a Jersey Mike's for the first time in the West Coast. And I don't know how familiar you are with California, but there's a lot of competition out here. There's restaurants everywhere. There's every kind of restaurant in the world out here in California. But when you come into a Jersey Mike's and you get the energy and you get people with the enthusiasm that say hello and look you in the eye, and then you watch how we make our sandwich, and the product comes out of the meat case in its original form. The cheese, the long cheese. Most people say, "Wow, my dad used to take me to a place like this when I was a kid." And you pull out a roast beef that's been cooked in the last 24 hours. For women out here in California, the number 6, the roast beef, is the number 1 sandwich because you can't get roast beef like that anywhere. Back east, it's a little different. There's a lot of sub shops, there's a lot of sandwich shops that make the sandwich like that. Out here in California, nobody makes it like that. So I got to tell you,
true.
People come into our stores and see that product, come from the beginning. It doesn't come out of a plastic bag. Everything is sliced fresh. The onion, lettuce, and tomatoes are all fresh. The red centers in the tomato, they're all ripened. They're not the yellow, white centers. All that stuff put together, they're just fascinated out here. When you bite into that sandwich, you know what the final result is. It's fantastic.
That is something. A new question we've been asking on the show, Dan, is what role has technology played in your franchise? I imagine there's been a lot of changes since 1956.
Yeah, the guy, Scott Shearer, that's in charge of technology for Jersey Mike's kind of looks at me, and I think he looks at me like a caveman, like I have no freaking clue what I'm doing. And I really don't. I'm still tackling the BlackBerry and things like that. But I do know that in moving forward right now, the direction that we're going is we are really going to be part of the Facebook, and we're going to be part of the MySpace, because we have this cultish following. Someone sent me in my email, join the Jersey Mike's Facebook club, and it was started by some customer because it's a Jersey Mike's fan club or something, and we have that little bit of that cult following in Jersey Mike's. So I don't know if you guys have ever read the book called The Tipping Point, but I think we're part of that tipping point because, like I said before, people are really passionate about our product. Our customers are. You won't hear anybody say, go down to X sub shop, which could be the biggest sub shop in the world. Go down here and try that, that sandwich or something. You will hear people say out here, hey, you got to go to 13. You got to go to Jersey Mike's and try number 13, man. Wait, you got to go try that. Go to this store right over here. So we have that cultish following, and part of it's going to be on Facebook, and part of it's going to be, with email clubs that we have going, and the technology part of it is unbelievable. The reporting now, within 15 minutes, I have 31 stores. I can see everyone's sales within 15 minutes.
Wow. And
in the 8 stores that I own, I can pull the store up on a camera at the same time.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic, and it's a new way. It's a new way of managing. Because we can use those cameras for going back and with customer issues and training people on how they handle the situation. I got a guy that ran into a store one time and grabbed a tip jar and ran out. They caught the guy down the street. The police caught the guy down the street because we had the camera and everything, and we called the police, and they had the evidence, and it's fantastic technology right now. Yeah, plus the online ordering.
Wow.
We're rolling that out with our company. You sit at your office. You got 15 people in your office. Everybody's going to have lunch at Jersey Mike's. All 15 people jump on their own computer and just add to the order. It gets sent over to Jersey Mike's. Someone goes and picks it up at 12:30. It's all ready, names on it, the whole thing, and take it home. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
with a cash type business, it's nice to have that technology cut down on theft. That's pretty big. I would imagine.
Yeah, well, for any franchise in any business, sometimes what they don't understand in the beginning is how to control your costs. It runs away from you in the beginning, and all of this, in our business, food costs and labor are really essential, and you have to control your costs in a franchise, especially when you first start out, because we do pretty well when we first start out because of the type of promotion and opening that we do. We get real involved in the community. We do $1 sandwiches for the first 5 days when you bring a coupon in, and that dollar goes to a local charity, and that's how we open all of our stores. It's really great because we like doing that kind of work, and our customers like seeing us do that, and then they get to have our sandwich for the first time. So, connecting all that up with the technology and everything it's just incredible.
How big is the industry, Dan? Are there any numbers? I know you're dealing in a pretty huge industry.
No, I would never even think about it. Actually, it's there's a lot of competition out here, and there's a lot of competition back east. The sandwich is the number one is the number one choice of Americans of what to eat is the sandwich. It's more popular than pizza or hamburgers or whatever.
That's enough now.
And we have the largest franchise in the world. That's part of our competition. So I don't even think about that. I think about what we do and what we do well, and I'll let everybody else take care of themselves.
Good.
What other types of characteristics, Dan, you look for in a franchisee?
First thing I'm looking for is that energy and enthusiasm. When they look at me that first time, when they reach out and shake my hand, do they have that magic? Do they have that ability? Because like I say, it's not just the first time, but do they have the ability to do that 10,000 times in a row? When I get that person right there that is excited about, what we do, and almost all of our franchisees are customers. There are really very few people looking for business opportunities that stumble upon a Jersey Mike's it's usually a customer, and the customer becomes a franchisee because their passion continues to build for what we do. They're totally addicted to the sandwich. They can't stay out of the store. They get to know everybody's name in there, and all of a sudden they realize, I don't want to be. We have a franchisee that opened just a couple months ago that was a former TV producer here in California. Did quite a few well-known shows. His name is Lloyd Weintraub. He is so happy doing what he's doing. He cannot stay out of a Jersey Mike's. He just loves it. And now he's going to be signing a 3-store deal, so he's moving on to 3 more stores. It's just, we look for that excitement and enthusiasm. We're going to teach you the restaurant business, and it's not that difficult. We're going to teach you the inventory. We're going to teach you how to control your costs and your labor. Speaking of technology, we can look at a store at any time in the last year and tell you what day, what hour of the day you were heavy on in labor for the entire year. So you might want to cut back a person at that hour or something. But we're going to teach you all that. So energy, enthusiasm, ability to go out and meet people, to meet the community, that's what we're looking for. We'll teach everybody else the rest.
So really no prior business ownership, no sales, just person who has that passion, energy, enthusiasm is a main ingredient.
You bet. And most people are professional. I mean, if you're going to have a couple $100,000 to invest in a business, you probably have done well at something else before. You probably have an idea how to balance your checkbook, and probably have an idea maybe some payroll and some managing some hourly employees or some type of management. So, they're coming to us as professionals in what they have done. They got the right personality. We put that together with their training. We have some really darn good franchisees here in California, some really stand-up people.
That's so important. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a Jersey Mike's Subs franchisee, Dan?
JerseyMikes.com. We have a website. It will guide you to more information. It will help you fill out an application to get some preliminary information, and or they can call 1-800 Jersey Mike's 1-800-321-7676 and ask for the franchise department, sales department.
That's fantastic. And we also have a link up on our show page as well, Dan, for our listeners, so they can just link right to your website. And I want to thank you again. You've been an incredible guest, and I'd love to have you guys back in the near future. I think you agree, Don.
Yes, definitely. Maybe possibly even have a franchisee on. Some of these franchisees would be nice to have on in the future, Dan.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely, and that'd be great. And I'd be happy to do that. And Don, we'll grab a sandwich the next time I'm back in Jersey.
Definitely.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Dan. You have a great day.
Keep up
All
the
right,
good
guys.
work.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great show, huh, Don?
Yeah.
My God, I'm hungry. I mean, just thinking of the oil and vinegar, I mean, it really is, Jersey Mike's is a cult following. I mean, once you have one, it's a wow experience,
He was describing the fresh meat, the oil and vinegar, the tomatoes and lettuce. I came close to...
I'm just picturing it in my head, I said, because where I am out in Pennsylvania, I don't think we have one out here in this part of Pennsylvania, so...
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it really is out of this world, for our listeners, check them out, just go to the website, and just amazing with the technology and the training, and very, very impressed.
Yeah, very detailed and lengthy training, but that's what's needed.
Absolutely. So you did a great job, Don. And again, thanks for listening. And for our listeners, go to franchiseinterviews.com. And I guess I'll be talking to you. We possibly might have a show next week, Don. I know we have Hollywood's Hands coming up, and you're heading out to San Diego as well. So I think we're going to play some archive versions of our show over the next couple of weeks as well.
Good, great. All right, Marty, good job. Have a nice day.
Great job, Don. And I'll be talking to you soon. Take care.